Alright guys, before we dive straight into today's video, if you're struggling with World vs World or PvP and you're looking to improve, I do offer one-to-one coaching. You can find out more information in the description. You hear that goofy laugh? That's me when I realized I found a new goofy build to play. So, Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure has dropped, and you have been waiting for me to finally stop being lazy, try out the new expansion, and find you the busted thief builds you're after. So I've been doing just that for you, and I'd like to tell you that day one has been a huge success. There are so many different variations, different builds that can be put together thanks to the new relic system and the elite specialization weapons being shared now. So expect a lot of different builds coming. I'm just gonna start pumping them out whenever I get a chance to actually make videos. So bro, before we get into that, come on bro, are you still not subscribed? If you are still not subscribed, I'm actually going to slap you on. First go down, subscribe, like the video, and now here is the build. So what we have here today is a Daredevil running Scepter Dagger with Dagger Pistol as well. I'm just going to put the build up on screen. So guys, as you can see, I just run power gear. So this can be any mix of Marauder, Berserkers, or Valkyrie gear. I'm running that with Scholar Runes, and the relic I'm running is Firework Relic. Now you might think that Firework Relic might not be able to proc off any of Thief's weapon skills, but it actually procs off of Steel. Shout out to Syndrina for figuring that out. So we're running Dagger Pistol alongside Scepter and Dagger. So on my Dagger Pistol set, I'm running Air and Cleansing. The reason I'm running Cleansing on the DP set is because, believe it or not, Dagger Pistol is more of the defensive weapon set in this build. And then on my Scepter Dagger, I'm running Sigil of Night and Sigil of Air, just for that huge extra burst damage. Now for our traits, we're actually going with Critical Strikes for that huge burst once again. And then the rest is just standard Trickery and Daredevil. Alright, now let's get into the timeline of how I figured this build out. Stay tuned as well, because you're going to see me progress into outnumbered fights, and I'll talk you through it. Alright, so I originally tried this build out during beta, but it was missing that oomph, and I think once relics came out, that's what sort of cemented it. So I was like, hey, let's try this build. I run out into World vs World, instantly there's people spawn camping us, and this happens. So I'm like, hold on, we might be onto something here. EBG was really boring that night because one server was just stomping. So I'm like, let me go to EOTM right now and see if people are dueling. So I start doing duels with this Revenant and this Chrono. And you know what this started giving me flashbacks to? When I found that disgusting Scepter Dagger Spectre build at the start of Ender Dragons. Except now, I've got access to mobility and a decent amount of stealth. The beauty is you can still play this build just like standard Dagger Pistol Daredevil. But whenever you feel like doing a massive burst, you just go into Scepter Dagger and you unload with the third skill. Of course though, as usual with all high burst builds, they are going to have some difficult matchups. One of these players ended up bringing their Fresh Air Weaver, and because of the combo of high burst and projectile blocks, they were a lot harder to fight and they took some of the fights. Honestly, these are the matchups where you might just have to make slight adjustments. Obviously, you have to minimize mistakes as much as possible, but managing your distance, maybe taking an extra stun break, that can be the difference in winning and losing in some matchups. Now we enter the world of outnumbered fights. I'm just going to give a full disclaimer right now. In a lot of these fights, I actually made a lot of mistakes. As usual with World vs World fights, the quality of players aren't necessarily the best, so sometimes I'll get away with things that I usually wouldn't against better players. So in this clip, I'm facing 3 players from the one guild. We've got a Catalyst, and then we've got a Willbender here first. I decide to go for the Willbender, so I open up with a Cloak and Dagger Steel to break that distance and get a nice little burst that'll give me my relic of Firework boost. As you can see, using my third ability on Scepter Dagger just deletes him, and I decide to go for the Stealth Stomp. That's already one player out of the way, and now a Reaper has joined the fight. It takes me a little while to compose myself, but I decide that the Reaper was my next target because they can do huge burst damage. So we fast forward a little bit and they've been putting me under a lot of pressure. So I've actually just been going mostly into stealth and just trying to manage distance, trying to get bursts in where I can. But the Elementalist just runs out of combat and ends up switching to a fresh air Weaver build. So I realize it's time to end this Reaper quickly. So I drop my black powder, land a nice Heartseeker Steel backstab combo, that drops the Reaper, and I know I've got Shadow Step available, so I go for that Shadow Step safe stomp. So that finishes the Reaper, now we've just got the Weaver left. I take a second to give myself some breathing space, re-enter stealth, and I've got my Basilisk Venom, so I know that my next opening is probably going to be enough to kill this Weaver. So I open with the Scepter Sneak Attack, and then follow that up with some huge Scepter 3s, and sure enough they crit for 9k, that boy eats the dirt. I hit him with a quick /TY, because it's like, thank you for attending my performance. And then I see 2 more people at the sentry, so I'm like, here we go, let's just keep the ball rolling. I target a Core Thief, I open up with the Scepter 3, that lands. I then land a Cloak and Dagger Steel, once again getting that Firework Relic. He goes into stealth, but I can see that my next Scepter 3 connects, so I know this guy is low. Sure enough, he comes out of stealth, very low HP, and starts running. But we aren't letting that happen. I chase him down, and I put him down as well. Also, mind you, at this point, I've also been PM'd by the previous players that I just owned, saying Permastealth Thief, so good. As if that's the reason they got dumpster 3v1 and not just because, you know, they couldn't land a decent burst. Anyway, I go back out there, and the second player is running away, and he gets the waypoint. So, you know, he dodged a bullet right there. Just to give you another idea of how ridiculous the damage of this build is, here's another clip of those same 2 players. They're back, and I mess around with them just a little bit more. Alright, so up next we've got a 1v2 against a Soul Beast and a Willbender. The Soul Beast is instantly my first target. I land a nice Heartseeker into Steel into backstab combo. I see that they're going to start bursting back, so I go into Dagger Storm. Now I just re-enter stealth and it's about chasing down that Soul Beast. I land a nice Scepter 3. He does get his heal off at the same time, so finishing him off has been pretty difficult so far, and he follows it up with a block when I do my sneak attack. So I go in with another Cloak and Dagger Steel. I'm starting to get him low now, so I swap over to my Dagger Pistol, trying to look for that backstab just to finish it, but I can't connect it. So I kite a little bit, get a very nice dodge on both of their attacks right there, and then re-enter into stealth to get a backstab steal. See, this is a great example of how prolonged fights look. It might be easy to think that this build is just a burst and that's it. After that, it's got nothing. But this build can go longer in fights. And I'm landing some very good bursts on this Soul Beast, but he is not going down. You probably hear me even get a little frustrated in this clip. Oh my god! They get a nice CC on me just as I'm about to finish off the Soul Beast, so I shadow step away, re-enter stealth as I return, and then I land the backstab to finally drop the Soul Beast. And now, it's just about getting a safe stomp. Now that it's just down to 1v1, I've got the time to heal up, re-stealth, sort of reset myself, knowing that I can finish this Willbender pretty quickly with this small HP pool. I land a few big Scepter 3s, and then I finish him off with the Cloak and Dagger Steel. Now, let me give you a lesson, because I could have done that a lot better. What was the issue there? Target priority. So I come across them again, and this time I focus the Willbender first to get him out of there, and then it just makes the 1v1 so much easier. All it takes is 2 massive Scepter Dagger 3s to drop the Willbender, and I start going for the Shadow Step Stomp. The Soul Beast gets a very nice interrupt. Oh, nice interrupt. So I use my Blinding Powder to stun break and get the Stealth Stomp. I re-enter stealth with my heal, and I try reopen on the Soul Beast with my sneak attack. He gets a really good knockback, but after that, I just hit 3 Scepter 3s in a row, and it kills him. Alright guys, we're going to wrap up today's video right there. Just as a reminder, I do offer one-to-one coaching in Guild Wars 2, so if you're looking to improve in World vs World or PvP, hit me up. I can help you through all the basics, teach you how to play certain builds, certain matchups. You reach out to me, check the description for more information. Once again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment to help out the channel, and I'll see you next time.